I watched my wife, Claire, fold clothes into a suitcase without asking where she was going. She moved with precision. "I'm leaving you," she said, avoiding my eyes. "There's someone else, and I can't pretend anymore." Fear tightened my chest, but I refused to beg. For the first time, I felt our life slipping away. For 22 years, I believed our marriage survived anything. Claire zipped the bag and reached for the door. Then her phone buzzed. An Uber receipt flashed across the screen. I glanced at the destination, expecting another man's apartment. Instead, I saw our daughter Emily's address. The address belonged to Emily, 3 states away. Claire had never mentioned visiting her. "Why are you going there?" I asked. She froze, and for the first time, her confidence cracked. "It doesn't matter," she whispered. That answer terrified me more than the supposed affair. If she were truly leaving for another man, why hide a family address? Her hands trembled around the suitcase handle tightly. I watched her walk away and realized I knew almost nothing about what had been happening inside my marriage. Strange calls, locked messages, and missing money suddenly formed a pattern I desperately wanted explained. I needed answers. I waited until Claire disappeared into the bathroom, then checked the receipt again. The Uber was scheduled for 6 the next morning. Beneath it was another booking from Emily's neighborhood to a private medical center. My stomach dropped. Medical center. Suddenly, the affair story felt almost absurd. Had Emily become sick? Was Claire helping someone escape? Or was she hiding something about me? I remembered my own doctor mentioning follow-up tests months earlier, but I had dismissed them as unnecessary. Still, another thought poisoned everything. Money had been disappearing from our savings. Fear and curiosity fought inside me all night. I barely slept. At breakfast, Claire acted normal. She drank coffee with both hands, staring into the cup. Finally I asked, "Who is he?" She looked up sadly. "You really believe there's another man?" Her question stopped me cold. She had never actually confirmed it. She had simply allowed me to believe the worst. That challenged something I had always believed. Betrayal was obvious when someone stopped loving you. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe people lied because the truth was harder to survive. Claire stood, kissed my forehead and whispered, "You'll understand when Emily knows." Then she walked upstairs, leaving me afraid and confused. That afternoon, I opened our laptop and searched for Emily. I found an email Claire had forgotten to delete. The subject read, "Appointment confirmed. Discretion required." My hands suddenly went numb. The message mentioned blood tests, a specialist, and a cash payment. There was no diagnosis, only a warning that the patient needed to avoid stress before treatment. I almost called Emily, but something stopped me. If Claire had hidden this for months, confronting her could destroy whatever fragile plan she was protecting. Another email appeared beneath it. It was from a lawyer, mentioning inheritance, a trust, and guardianship. My fear deepened. Greed entered my thoughts instantly. My father had left me an inheritance. Money Claire always called our safety net. The lawyer mentioned a trust worth hundreds of thousands. I believed my wife had betrayed me completely because betrayal was easier to understand than a secret involving money, doctors, and our daughter. It gave my fear a simple explanation. Had Claire invented an affair to make me leave without asking questions? Was Emily involved? Then I noticed something strange. The lawyer's message never mentioned Claire receiving anything. Whoever the money was protecting, it wasn't her. That realization frightened me even more than the affair. That night, I followed Claire's car from a distance. She stopped outside Emily's house. Not an airport or hotel. Emily ran outside and hugged her mother so tightly that Claire began crying. I stayed across the street, frozen. Emily noticed me. Her expression changed instantly. She hurried toward my car and opened the passenger door. "Dad, please," she whispered. "You cannot go inside yet." Her voice shook with fear. "Mom has been trying to protect you." Protect me? My anger vanished, replaced by uncertainty. Claire approached slowly, clutching a folder against her chest. Whatever was inside had already changed everything. We entered. Emily's husband took their son upstairs, leaving the 3 of us alone. Claire opened the folder and pushed a medical report across the table. It was mine. My name was found something during your last examination, but you never followed up. I remembered that appointment and the warning I had dismissed as routine. Emily swallowed hard. Dad, you need treatment immediately. The shock was so complete that I laughed. The affair had been a lie, but not the lie I expected. Claire explained everything. Months earlier, she learned that my condition required specialized treatment available near Emily. The cost was enormous, and insurance wouldn't cover it. She secretly sold jewelry, withdrew savings, and contacted the lawyer about my trust. She planned the trip while pretending she was leaving me. I knew you'd refuse treatment if you thought we were spending money on you, she said. I suddenly remembered how often I had insisted that my family's financial security mattered more than my own needs. Her deception looked less like betrayal and more like desperation. She had been terrified of losing me. I finally understood her fear. Then Emily revealed the biggest surprise. The other man was Dr. Harris, the specialist treating me. Claire had deliberately allowed his name to appear in messages because she needed me to believe there was an affair. The Uber receipt had also been left where I would see it. She wanted me to follow the clues and reach Emily before leaving. Why not tell me? I demanded. Claire's eyes filled with tears. Because you spent your whole life protecting everyone except yourself. Her words shattered my oldest belief, that strength meant refusing help. For years, pride had disguised itself as responsibility. I had mistaken both for strength. The next morning, I entered the clinic beside Claire. I was angry, frightened, and ashamed. Treatment would take months, and nothing was guaranteed. Yet beneath everything was gratitude. Claire had risked destroying our marriage because she believed the truth would make me refuse help. I asked why she had taken such a terrible risk. She looked at me and whispered, "I'd rather have you hate me alive than love me while you're gone." I had no answer then. For the first time, I understood that love could sometimes look frighteningly similar to betrayal. That realization followed me into the treatment room. Weeks later, treatment began working. I slowly regained strength as our family rebuilt trust. Claire admitted her deception had been cruel, despite her loving intentions. I admitted my pride had made her believe she had no other choice, and that truth hurt. Emily finally stopped carrying the secret alone. One evening, I found the Uber receipt inside Claire's drawer. I almost threw it away, but instead I kept it. That paper had looked like proof of betrayal. In reality, it had been proof that someone loved me enough to risk everything we had. I understood her fear. That moment stayed with me. Months later, I stood beside Claire outside Emily's house, watching our grandson play nearby. I understood how easily insecurity convinced me my wife could replace me. I had mistaken secrecy for betrayal and pride for strength. Claire had made a terrible choice while fighting for my life. I quietly took her hand. "Next time," I said, "tell me the truth." She nodded. "Next time, promise you'll let me help you." I finally smiled. Then I looked at the Uber receipt in my pocket. What I feared most was never another man. It was losing myself, and nearly lost myself. That lesson changed me forever.